Akhilesh Gupta, uh, President of Rotary Club of DTSS College. Uh, Anjali, are you there? Anjali Gupta.
Yes.
Can we start?
Yes, sir. I am audible.
Yes, you.
Good evening to everyone. I, Rotractor Anjali Gupta, student of SYBBI, on behalf of self-finance session of DTS College of Commerce, would like to take this opportunity to introduce our speaker, Dr. Manisha Anvekar, founded her social spiritual organization, Spiritual Connect, in the year 1992. She writes one book every month and has authored and published 47 books so far. She is a science graduate and a university topper and an MBA in finance. She earned her doctoral degree in metaphysical science from Florida, USA. She holds a postgraduate diploma in Vedic astrology and an essential certificate in aromatherapy and essential oils. She is a certified spiritual counselor, certified hypnotist life coach, and mentor to many from age 8 to 80 plus. She has backed participating counseling for more than 30 years. Her book, Jeevan Sawarne Ke Mantra, is written specially for prisoners in India. It is distributed free of cost in Indian jails. She has bagged many national and international awards. She also organized Women of Substance Digital Award to felicitate inspiring women on March 8 every year. Thank you. Welcome, ma'am, on behalf of Rotary Club of DTS.
Thank you so much, Rotractor Anjali Gupta. Thank you, Akhilesh, for organizing this webinar for students. And good evening, everyone. I welcome you all in this enriching session. And before we start, I would just like to know you. I want to make it a little interactive because this is not going to be a session where I'm just going to talk, and we are all here. So I want to know how you feel, what you feel about your exams, about your studies. And I have definitely prepared one presentation for you. But before that, I would like to ask something to all of you. And you may simply write down in the chat box. So it will be easier for me to understand. Okay. So here I go. How many of you feel nervous before your exams? If you feel nervous, just write yes. Or maybe you can show by this reaction, you may show something like maybe thumbs up. You can show thumbs up that you feel nervous. How many of you feel nervous? Very good. Some people are writing in the chat box. Yes, I'm getting the thumbs also. Very good. Very good.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Yes, yeah. Many people. All right. All right. Never mind. Okay, I'm there to give you some tips on how to reduce your nervousness. Many people are now writing and showing thumbs also. All right, never mind. My second question to you is, how many of you are early risers? Early risers, show me thumbs up. If you are a late night owl, then you show me a heart. Let me see thumbs up or heart. I am seeing early risers at this moment. Yeah, there is one heart, 2, 3. Yes, more. There are 100 people in the meeting. Okay, okay, yes. That's like my students. Very good. Hearts and thumbs up. Yeah, very good. Oh, black heart, Jatin. All right. Most of you are, I think, night owls. Okay, good, fine. Now, just last question before I start the presentation. How many of you have thought that exam is do or die? If you feel that it is do or die, don't show me any reaction. If you feel it is not, then give me hearts. If you think it is do or die, don't show me any reaction. If you feel it is not, give me hearts. I see very less hearts, very less in number. Okay. All right. Okay. Never mind. So I'm there to take you on this enriching journey now. I have understood. So most people have not given me any reaction. That means they think that exams are do or die. Okay, I disagree on that, but never mind. I'm not here to force any opinions on you. I'm here to take you through a beautiful journey. So now please allow me to share my screen with you. Okay, so just a second. Let me share my screen with you. So just a minute, yeah, now it's fine. So today we are learning about the success mantra for your exams. And this success mantra, I will give you a few tips on how to study effectively. I will also tell you about your style of learning so that you can achieve good grades in your exams. And towards the end, I will take you through a beautiful guided meditation. This meditation has garnered about 55,000 plus views on my YouTube channel. I don't use it anymore. It's an old channel, but still doesn't matter. And this meditation has helped many people from across the globe do well in their exams. And it's an easy meditation technique, so you can practice it whenever you want to. So we will do all this, and maybe after that, I'll be there to take your questions, right? So here we go now. There's something in the chat. Let me just, okay, all right. Fine. So now let's move ahead with the presentation. So I want to tell you that in exams, there is nothing to fear and nothing to lose. Exams is something that we have been taking since the time we were born. The moment a child is born, doctors check for everything, right? The child must cry. So that is the first exam, right? Then how the child is looking, is he or she looks like a father or mother, the color of the eyes, this, that. So your exam starts right from your first breath and it continues till the last breath. So there is nothing to fear about it. It's a usual process. But the thing is that in India, especially in India, we give a lot of importance to percentage. When somebody asks you how much you got in your exams, if you score 90 and above, okay, great. Somewhere 80 to 90, then all right. Below that, good for nothing. This is the usual approach of people, which I completely disagree to. If you get grades, whatever, you know, above 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever grades you get, I believe, I trust that you are giving your best in your exams. Do you? Give me your reaction. Do you give your best in your exams? Maybe in your chat, or maybe you can give me a reaction. You can show me a thumbs up, or you can show me something, whatever you feel like. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. My point is that you should not worry about what percentage you are getting out of your exams, but are you giving your best? If you're not, then you must work hard and smart both. The second point is there is nothing to lose about exams. You don't lose anything. The only thing may be that maybe you need to work a little more harder that way, but you still don't lose anything. It's never, I repeat, it's never a do or die situation, not only in your exams, never ever in your life. Please take these words, absorb them, and fit them into your mind, into your heart, and into your soul. There is no situation that cannot be helped. There is no problem, no concern, no issue that does not have a solution. So I urge to all of you to never think exams as a do or die situation, and never ever think of dying because you did not get what you wanted. You can always grow in life, improve. There is always a chance till your last breath. So you have to remove those negative thoughts from your mind that it's do or die. It's not, never. And if such thoughts come to your mind anytime in your life, just remember me. Remember my face. I hope I look good and you can remember me. Okay, moving ahead. I would like to know what are your concerns. If you can write it in the chat box, will be good. Otherwise, I would like to go down the slides, but I would like to know your concerns from your side because I have prepared this presentation for you, but I would like to know your concerns as well. Or we can do another thing that I will go slides down and then you can write in the chat box if you have another concern. Okay. So the biggest question, the biggest concern is to get good grades in exams. How many of you are for this? I think most of you, right? Second concern that most students have is about concentration. They feel that they are unable to concentrate. They are unable to focus on their studies. Even if they try to focus, thoughts come in and they get distracted, right? This is the second concern that most of my students have told me. And to tell you, I have nurtured, right? I have nurtured more than 10,000 students with learning disabilities, specific learning disabilities. And the number of other students is much more than that. So my students have given me these points, and based on that, I have prepared this presentation. The third is memory and the issue of recalling. You feel that you have memorized your syllabus, your question answers, but when you go in your examination hall and when you try to write, many of you are unable to recall. And this gives you more anxiety. You feel nervous. Many of you start sweating. Some even tremble. And everything goes like haywire. So this is another concern. Fourth is time management. Many students tell me that they are unable to complete their questions. They are unable to write the answers the way they want to because the time was less for them. Okay, so time management is another concern which we have to look into. Moving ahead, that you study hard, but you do not achieve good grades. I have seen many students who are hardworking, who are very sincere, who are intelligent also, but still they do not achieve good grades. So are these concerns yours too? If yes, please write something in the chat so that I can just go through it quickly. Yeah, many students are writing yes. Yeah. Okay. If there is something that I have not covered in this, so please write that in the chat box so that I can talk about that as well. Okay, most of the people have these concerns. Right, I'll come back to chat in a while. Okay. Basically, these are very simple tips. These are the tips that all of you can achieve, all of you can do. There is nothing very difficult, or there is nothing that cannot be done by you. You are all students, you are all, I know that you are all very sincere in whatever you do. but sometimes you may need little guidance on how to achieve good grades, how to get success in your exams and otherwise also in your life. So the first thing that I always stress upon is planning. Plan your studies properly. What is the job of a student? The job of a student is to study. There is division of labor. You must have heard this term. A manager is supposed to do his job. A carpenter is supposed to do his job, right? A doctor does his or her job, an engineer theirs, right? A mother hers, a father his, right? So for a student, the job is to study and study not haphazardly. How should you study? With planning. You know your syllabus, you know how much time you have. Your exams are not announced anytime. That sometimes it is in March, sometimes it's in December, sometimes it's in Feb. It's not like that. You know everything. I'm not talking about the pandemic situation when things went a little haywire because of the situation outside. But otherwise, you know when your session starts and when it ends, when you have your term exams, when you have your final university exams and all that. Plan everything accordingly. When you plan it, you can achieve it better. Don't procrastinate. Planning is very important. So you plan your day, you plan your time, you plan your life accordingly. Planning is the first step toward success. Second is habit formation. Habits die hard. I'm sure you must have heard this. A habit is difficult to get rid of. You remove the H, a bit is there. You remove A, bit is there. You remove B, still it is there. So it's very difficult to get out of a habit. So it's better to inculcate, to form good habits. So what are good habits? Being sincere, studying at your time, studying properly, honestly. These are all good habits. Along with this, you should form another habit to do your work in the same day. Whenever you attend a class, in the same day, maybe in the evening or night or whenever you study, or if you're an early riser on the next day, you should go through the portion, whatever has been taught to you, you should go through the whole thing so that it fits in your mind, right? So this is a very good habit you can form right now, right from this moment. The third point that is also very important is knowing yourself well on three fronts. So what are these three fronts? On your physical, mental, and spiritual front. Humans are not this body. Humans are a body, a mind within, and a soul inside, right? So we are made up of these three fronts. So how well you are, your well-being, your health on these three fronts matter a lot. So how do you do that? You should know your strengths and weaknesses. I like to call weaknesses your limitation, because weakness, I find it's a negative term. So you should know your strengths and weaknesses. On the physical front, if I talk about, you should know what is your physical strength. Some people have strong constitution, while others may have weak constitution as well. You should know how long you can write, how long you can sit up, how long you can study. These are all your strengths and your limitations. These are all your, what do you call, your strengths, right? Similarly, on the mental front, if I tell you, self-esteem, self-image, self-confidence, having a good emotional strength is very important. If your mind is in good health, then you can achieve whatever you want to. On the spiritual front, I'm not asking you to follow any god. If you follow, well and good. If you do not, it is your choice. I'm talking about spirituality, and spirituality is that, like, we are all spiritual by default. Spirituality is knowing yourself, okay? Knowing who you are, why you behave in a certain way, why you postpone, why you procrastinate, why you talk in a certain tone, why you want to achieve but are not able to achieve that. This is all knowing yourself is your spiritual health. So you should know yourself very, very well on these three fronts. Once these things are taken care of, I see no point in not studying or not getting good marks. You will definitely achieve what you want to. Overthinking is something that kills most of us. What is overthinking? We all get thoughts, numerous thoughts during the day. I repeat this in each and every session of mine, that we get minimum 15,000 to 20,000 thoughts in a day. And this I'm talking about a normal thinker. But most of us are overthinkers. And an overthinker may get anywhere between 65,000 to 85,000 thoughts in a day. Believe me, 65,000 to 85,000 thoughts in a day. That means we spend a lot of mental energy on thoughts. And what do we think when we overthink? We often think negative. Before your exams, what do you think? You are nervous. Oh my God, will I be able to solve every question? What if I do not know? What if I cannot answer? What if my paper is not done completely? Ifs, what's, this and that. This overthinking is taking away your precious time, your productive time. So instead of spending your time and energy and resources on overthinking, it will be a good choice to focus your thoughts on your studies and prepare well for it. So from this moment, try to manage your thoughts. You cannot stop your thoughts. You can never stop thoughts from coming to you, but you can manage them. When you are sitting for your studies, streamline your thoughts. Focus your attention only on your studies. It comes with practice. It will not come just after this webinar is over, but you have to practice it consciously. Second, I would like to talk about distractions. There are different kinds of distractions. Like, we live in a family, there are people who live with us. Somebody may be watching television, somebody may be listening to songs, somebody may be doing something, somebody may be cooking in the kitchen. There is noise from kitchen. There are noise from outside, vehicle noise, birds, dogs, anything. Sometimes you have distractions from your own thoughts. Sometimes you did something on your social media, you did not get the response that you were looking forward to. Something or the other that is troubling you for quite some time. These all amount to distractions. You open your book, you start studying, but you are unable to focus. So you have to keep your distractions at bay. You cannot study with these distractions. So when you are studying, you must focus. That is the simplest mantra for you. Very difficult to follow, but yes, you will be able to do it if you really want to. Some children, even adults, like, undiagnosed, they may have specific learning disabilities. I want to talk about this also. I wanted to touch this topic. Sometimes what happens, most cases, almost 80 to 85% cases of specific learning disabilities go undiagnosed. There are various reasons for that. One is that we are still not aware that children may have specific learning disabilities. Second is acceptance. Those who do have it, they are never taken for evaluation. So they are undiagnosed all through their life. They struggle a lot, but they don't know how to cope up. Sometimes when children are diagnosed with these learning disabilities, their parents shout at them. They tell them, how come others don't have it and you have it? You are bringing bad name to us. It's not their problem. They have not brought it. It just happened to them. Sometimes it may be a developmental problem, issue. Sometimes it may develop, as the child grows. Sometimes it is because of chemical imbalance. Sometimes it may be because of lack of deficiency of some minerals or whatever. If you try your best if you're doing very good at most of the papers, but you don't understand a particular subject, it may be a specific learning disability. There was a movie few years back. I think Amir Khan was the actor in that. I'm not getting its name at the moment.
Tare Zameen.
Tare Zameen, exactly. Thank you. Tare Zameen Par. So in that, he talked about dyslexia. Dyslexia is about comprehension, the problem where children feel comprehension, reading, understanding. But there are many other learning disabilities as well. Few children have difficulty in mathematical calculations. They may have dyscalculia. Some children do not have their fine motor skills developed. So they may have dysgraphia. Then there are auditory processing disorders. There are visual processing disorders. And there are many others. So if you have any difficulty in these subjects, or you feel that you find it very difficult to understand simple concepts that your peers, your classmates, your friends are able to do, but you are not, then it's better to tell your parents to take you for evaluation. There's nothing wrong in it. Evaluation helps you in understanding you better. There is nothing wrong in having a learning disability, and there is no point in thinking that you're good for nothing. Your life may be a little difficult than others, but it doesn't stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. So this should never be a deterrent in your growth, in your success. This is something very important. I would like to talk about eating, sleeping, and study pattern. I noticed that many students stop eating, or they consume very little food as their exams approach, because they are nervous, they are anxious, they are stressed out about their exams. Some students start eating too much, they overeat, right? Same is the case with sleeping. Some people sleep a lot and some people do not sleep at all. I would like to share one instance from my life. I wanted to become a doctor, a medical doctor. I'm still a doctor, but I'm a doctorate. So I wanted to become a doctor, and it was my childhood dream. I had thought of only becoming a medical doctor and nothing else. I took the exam and I did not get through. I was literally depressed for almost 3 to 4 months because I had no plan B. Somehow my family supported me to come out of depression. Then I pursued BSc. I topped my university. But then I did not want to go for MSc or something like that. So I wanted to pursue CA, Chartered Accountancy. It is definitely a very difficult exam. I started articleship and I took my first exam, which is called intermediate exam. It is very difficult even for commerce students, and I came from a science background, so it was more difficult for me. But I passed that exam in my first attempt. But I don't want to talk about this success. What I want to tell you is, I want you not to do that, right? And I tell every student from my experience that please never ever do that. So what is that? I opted for both the groups. There were 8 subjects. There was exam every day. Only Sunday was a holiday. I took the first exam. I was very happy. The exam went very well. I came home, freshened up, had my lunch, started preparing for my next day's exam. I studied throughout the day, took just 10 minutes break in between, small breaks for tea, coffee, snacks, and loo and all that, whatever. I had my evening snacks and I had my dinner. I studied the whole night. I did not sleep. Next day I took my exam. It was good. I was very happy. And I repeated this for all my exams. I did not sleep for 7 consecutive nights. I did a bad thing. I abused my body. On the last day of my exams, I was unable to comprehend anything. My body had already started giving up. Akhilesh, can you please mute those? There is noise. I could not focus on my exam. I was unable to lift my pen to write the exam. I don't know what I wrote, how I wrote, and how I reached home. But the moment I reached home, I just threw my bag. I did not have energy to freshen up, to eat, to talk to anybody or do anything. I literally slept as if I was dead. And I woke up at night, 10 o'clock. Never ever abuse your body. What I did was completely wrong. My family was telling me not to do that. But I shut myself in my room and I told them that yes, I'll be sleeping. But I did not. I told lies, right? I abused my body like anything. Never do that. Whenever you have your exams, you must eat properly and sleep properly. A night before your exams, you must have your proper sleep. Don't keep awake throughout the night. Your mind will forget everything. It will be shut during your exams. And that is why we do not recall. Even if we have studied very hard, we find it unable to recall at that moment. We are unable to reproduce what we have done for so long. So please, it's my sincere request that never do that. Now coming to study pattern. Create a pattern that is conducive for you. How others are studying is none of your business. We are all different. We are all unique. We all have different capabilities, talents. Those who, you should find your productive time. We all have different circadian rhythm, right? We are productive in that particular time. Like my circadian rhythm is like, I'm very productive during morning hour, early morning hour, very early. And I study that time. Circadian rhythm. Akhilesh, can you please mute these people?
Yeah,
So
done.
Find out your time that is conducive for you. That time you feel more productive. It could be night, it could be day, it could be morning, or it could be anything. You set up your study pattern depending upon that. You have to set a daily routine for yourself. What is the time to study? Keep some time for your recreational activities. Keep some time for your social media. You should do everything. It's not that you should cut off from the world, okay? But when you're doing that certain thing, do that certain thing. Right now, I'm talking to you, so I'm doing that. At this moment, I don't have thoughts, oh my God, my book is not complete at the moment, right? So when you are studying, study. When you're watching television, watch it. When you're chatting with your friends, chat. Whatever you do it with 100% dedication, right? Inculcate discipline. This is extremely important. Discipline in everything. Discipline in studies and discipline in all spheres of your life. You must create a timetable for you. And that timetable should have flexibility. It should not be that waking up at 6 to 6:10, going to the loo, brushing my teeth, 6:10 to 6:15, having my coffee, not like that. Okay? Keep it flexible. Just assign 2 hours, 1 hour's time and do that. Assign time for each and every subject during the day. Assign time for everything. Create that timetable. Whenever you feel like changing, whenever you feel like making any change in it, edit it. You have to rework it, as you come close to your exams. Next point is about memorizing. Memorizing, not mugging up. I'm not asking you to just learn by rote. You have to memorize certain definitions. You have to memorize certain, activities. You may have to memorize certain steps in a definition or whatever, what you are studying. I'm really not sure, so I cannot tell you one thing. So, you have to memorize, but there are different ways to memorize. You can create mind maps where you can produce one central idea, and then you can form clouds or bubbles, and you can write something. You can make them colorful. If you are good at drawing, you can make some cartoon characters and write their stories. And you can have mnemonics. Mnemonics are like what like you prepare something like small rhyming words or poem type or something like that, ode or something like that. So you can prepare that. If you are good at music, if you you play any instrument, or you sing or something like that, or you can pick up beats very fast, then you can just sing your formulae or something that you do not remember. To remember dates, if you have to, then you can make designs, like say for example 1957. So you can make something at 1, at 9 and 5 and 7, so that that picture is there in your mind, so you do not forget about it. You can devise numerous methods that will help you memorize your things in a better way. And this is the most important point I would like to emphasize: write and rewrite. What happens that you memorize? Excuse me. Sorry. So you memorize, but you are unable to reproduce that during your exam. What happens when we study from the book or from the internet? We feel that, yes, I know this very well. I know this point. I know that point. But the moment you go there, you forget, because you are unable to write that. And why are you unable to write that? Because you never tried writing it. Write in examination conditions. This is very important. Whenever you read a chapter, there will be some questions related with that chapter. Try those questions under examination condition. So what is that examination condition? If you get 3 hours and if you have to attempt 6 answers, roughly half an hour for every question. But you should not spend that much of time. Spend say 20 minutes each and keep 10 minutes for each question. If you remember something else to add into it, you have to draw a diagram. You have to label your diagrams, or you have to add some more points. Sometimes some questions are, you feel that, yes, you know the answer. Some answers may be long, some may be short, and like that. So you write those questions in those many minutes. So for every question, assign 20 minutes and write that without any distraction, without going here and there. So if you try to perform in this examination condition, you're definitely going to get very good marks, because time management is a huge problem with many students. So you start practicing it right from the beginning, not only before your exams. So if you know that your exams are 3 months apart or 1 or 2 months apart, start doing it right now. If you have your exams coming right after Diwali, you can start practicing it now, and you will definitely feel the difference in your grades and in your understanding as well. This is another very important point, that you should avoid discussing anything with your friends. What happens? You studied first chapter and I studied 9th. Maybe I started from 10th, 9th, 8th that way, and you have started from 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. When you discuss your things with me, I am telling you about 9th chapter because I did my 9th chapter today and I feel that I'm really good at that. And you are wondering, oh my God, she reached at 9th and I'm still at chapter 1. This may make you more nervous. This may give you jitters, anxiety, and stress. And you will not be able to study after you discuss it with me. Never discuss what you have studied. Everybody is supposed to study the whole thing, complete syllabus. So just do it. The same thing stands true for after exam, before and even after exam. Never discuss before exam what you studied, what I studied, because again, you will get nervous. If somebody is telling you something that you have not prepared well or you do not understand well, everything is gone. You will lose confidence right in your examination center. After the exam, never discuss. This will again give you jitters. Oh my God, he or she did it so well, I could not do it. There is no need to discuss anything. How was your paper? good. That's it. Avoid studying what you did not study through the year. Some chapters or some portion of the chapter may be difficult for you. If you have not studied it throughout the year, don't try to study it just a night before the exam. Leave it. You will not be able to do much in that as it is. Instead, focus more on what you know. If there is some improvement needed, make improvements in that. But do not study anything that is new, that is very difficult, or that you really do not understand at all. If you avoid these things, definitely you will get good marks, you will get good grades. Okay, now I do not see the, there is some, just, yeah. Be sincere and diligent. Be honest with yourself. You do not need to tell lies to anybody, and more to yourself. Being honest is very important. When you are honest with yourself, you definitely excel in your life. Avoid whiling away your time. Procrastination is one of them. Like, when you while away your time. Okay, I want to study now, but somebody send me some message on WhatsApp and I'm into it now. So, okay, it doesn't matter if I do it after 10 minutes. If I do it after a day, it doesn't matter if I do it after a week. Do not procrastinate because things pile up. Once the stack becomes this huge, it is difficult to manage. Do what you have to do in this moment, and you will be successful in all your exams throughout your life, whether it is your exam of your education, your academics, or it is any other exam of your life. So I want to ask you this question. How many of you feel that you are intelligent? Can you please write in the chat? How many of you feel that you are intelligent? Because at this moment, I'm unable to see those thumbs and all that. So if you can help me with the chat, please write yes. You are smart, Jatin. Okay. No. Yes, yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. No, many people are writing no. Some people are writing yes. Okay. So what makes you feel you're intelligent and what makes you feel that no, this is such a big no, right? So what makes you feel no? Is there something specific that makes you feel that you are intelligent or you are not? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. So let me tell you that we are all intelligent. You don't believe me, right? Those who have written no, right? You don't believe me. So now listen to me. I'm repeating the sentence. We are all intelligent, but our intelligence may be different. We have IQ tests, right? And I'm not a fan of those IQ tests because my thoughts are very different. Whenever there is an exam, we all get nervous. So when those people from outside agency come, you are such a small child when your IQ test is conducted and all. And those people are there and they give you some exam to write and all that. And you are so nervous, oh my God, how I'm going to perform. You really don't perform well. So I don't believe in those intelligence tests, but I'm going to tell you something good. Do you feel good out in nature? If there are people, you can just make a note of this in your diary or whatever you have in front of you. You may just write 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give you 9 questions like this. So whatever you feel like, you can just write that. You may have more than one also. So do you feel good out in nature? If you feel, you may write 1. Are you good at picking up beats, musical notes? Do you tap when you are sitting or listening to music, or just, just swing and sway and all that? Are you good at numbers? Do you have good logical reasoning? Are you good at charts, statistical figures? If you are, write 3. Are you a deep thinker and think about life lessons? And what have you learned from your life? If you are, write 4. If you are a good communicator, write 5. If you are good at body-mind coordination, you know your physical capacity, and you are very good with tools. You have that precision in you, then you write 6. I repeat, you may write more than 1 as well. Some people are very good at wordplay. They are good readers also. Sometimes they write poetry or stories or just anything, and they are very good at that. They have very good vocabulary. If you are one of them, write 7. If you are self-driven, you feel self-motivated, you feel inspired, and you know yourself well that, yes, I will be able to do this, or I'm not good at that, right? Both the things. If you know yourself very well, write 8. And if you're very imaginative, you can visualize everything very well. You can visualize the outcome. You can visualize everything. You are very creative. You are an artistic person. Then you write 9. So if you have done that, I'm moving ahead. So these are 9 types of intelligence. And we are going to talk about it and how these intelligence can help you in your exams. So the first was your naturalistic intelligence. Those who like to go out and sit there can derive motivation from there. They can spend some time whenever you want to take a break. You can go out, just breathe in fresh air, right? You can learn something from nature and you can put it in your examination schedule or your study schedule, and you really feel good. Those people who are naturalistic intelligent, they are very good at taking lessons and combining them with their studies. Those who have this musical intelligence can make their chapters into tunes, different tunes. My younger daughter is very good at musical intelligence. So she studies her formulae and quite a few things. She just assigns some tunes to them and she's done with it. If you have logical and mathematical intelligence, you may be good at churning numbers. So you can use that. You can incorporate numbers, anything related with numbers in your studies to remember your portion, whatever you feel is difficult for you. Okay. If you have this existential intelligence, you learn a lot from your life. So your life lessons, like I learned from your life that I should not abuse my body. I should take my capacity as I'm a human, I'm not a machine. So I learned that lesson and it is still there in my mind. And I tell that to everybody. So those who are good with existential intelligence can incorporate their life's lessons. They can motivate themselves, they can inspire themselves, they can give them good suggestions. Okay, so all this can be incorporated in your studies. Then comes interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal intelligence is about talking, about communication, right? So some people are good at discussing, some people believe in group studies. So if all of you are good in interpersonal intelligence, you can have group studies, 4 or 5 or 2 or 10, how many number of whatever you are, like a group, you all can sit together and study. So, but only if all of you are good at interpersonal intelligence. Then there is bodily kinesthetic. This is like those you are very good at coordination, like what you think and what you can accomplish. So you think of it and you visualize it and you bring it to fruition. So that is more about kinesthetic and bodily intelligence. If you are this kind of intelligent person, then you can also develop something like you can create tools, or with the clay, we have that colored clay. Small children also play and make a few things out of it. You can make a few things, you can make some tools, and this you can utilize in your studies. Then comes linguistic intelligence. I told you, like those who like to play with words, who read, who write, they are very good with it. They have very good vocabulary. So you can even make your career in this field if you have linguistic intelligence. Then comes intrapersonal. Intra is within. So within is used for giving yourself self-affirmations, telling good things about yourself, suggesting yourself that yes, you will be able to do it. Whenever you feel nervous, whenever you are anxious, you can tell yourself, okay, doesn't matter, just calm down, relax, like that. And the last is visual spatial. Over here, you can visualize things in a much better way. So you can use these intelligence for taking your exams in a better way. Now, this is the time for a guided meditation, and this meditation has been a friend of so many people. So my request to all of you is to sit down, relax, and focus your attention on this music and my voice. I'm just going to switch off my camera for some time. Now sit back, relax. If you are comfortable sitting, sit down, or you can lie down as well. Switch off your cameras if you're lying down, because this program is live on Facebook also. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a count of 3 and release it slowly through your mouth. Now I'm going to take you on a beautiful journey. And this journey will help you to overcome the fear of exams, nervousness, anxiety, and stress. With your eyes closed, take another deep breath in. And feel relaxed. Forget your worries. Keep aside your stress. Keep aside your anxieties and be with me. Now imagine yourself standing at the top of a staircase. There are 10 steps down. As I ask you to step down, you will step down. And as you step down, you will feel deeper relaxed. So step down on 9. You are feeling more relaxed. You're feeling better. You are feeling good. This music has stopped. I think I will stop this share and do it again because I need that music to be there. Some technical glitch, I believe. Just give me a moment. I will stop it and give it again. In the meantime, you can still continue breathing. Breathing deep, slower and long. So step down on 8. You're feeling deeper relaxed with this. Step down to 7. Step down to 6. Step down to 5. Step down to 4. To 3. You are slipping into deeper awareness. Slip down to 2 and to 1. You are in a deeper relaxed state now. Now I'm taking you to your examination hall. This is your examination hall. All students are sitting. Invigilators are there. You're feeling little stressed, but you know that you have studied and you know everything. They are distributing your answer sheets and you are filling up the details. The clock is clicking. It's time for the distribution of your question paper. Question papers are distributed. You are reading the questions and you're preparing yourself to write the answers. You are writing them. You know most of the questions. But there is one question you're not quite sure of. But you know that you have studied this. Just visualize your book or notebook where you have studied this answer. Visualize that portion from that page and visualize where it is written. What are the words? Just go there and recall. Yes, you could see those words and you're writing that answer. Now it's time for you to submit your answer sheet. If you had taken any supplements, you are tying them together. You are checking through the answer sheet that you have done everything as required. Underline if any diagrams were to be drawn, any labeling, or whatever else. And now you are ready to submit your answer sheet. You have done it. You are sitting quiet in the examination hall. And you are just going through everything in your mind. You're feeling satisfied that yes, you did a great job. I want to tell you that you are unique. You are intelligent. You have studied well for your exams. You have given your best. You will definitely get success in this exam. Even if there was some difficulty, you will learn it in the next exam. You are a good communicator. You are beautiful from within. You are diligent and sincere in all your efforts. Feel good about yourself. Accept what you did well and accept where you need to put in more efforts. Next time, be sure to put in more efforts. But have a good self-image. Do not utter bad words about yourself. If any negative thoughts come to your mind, take cognizance and give yourself good affirmations like, yes, I will do it. If you feel you lacked something, there is still time for you to make up for it, and you will do it. Take very good care of eating, sleeping, and everything else. Have some time for recreation because it brings back the capacity of your mind, of your brain. If your brain is tired, you will not be able to do anything. So learn to accept your strengths and your limitations. And after your exam, do pat your back and tell yourself that yes, you did a great job. That is how you succeed in your exams. Now I'm going to take you up on the staircase. And as you will come upstairs, you will start to regain your consciousness because at this moment, you are in your alpha state of your brain waves. Step up on 1. You're feeling good after your exam. Step up on 2. You're smiling. Step up on 3. You're feeling extremely good about your exam. Step up on 4. You're confident. Step up on 5. Great feeling. Step up on 6. You feel successful. You feel great. You feel enriched. Step up on 7. You're coming back to your normal awareness. Step up on 8. You are returning to your normal awareness and you are feeling extremely good and relaxed. Step up on 9. You're almost there. Feeling relaxed, at peace, and beautiful from within. Step up on 10. And here you are in your normal awareness, all conscious. You are an achiever. You have done your best in your exam, and it's time to celebrate your new life, new awareness, and everything new. just take some time to open your eyes, absorb these vibrations, and feel good about them. Once you're back, write something in the chat. I would like to give you 3 takeaways from this session. And those are: success is definitely in your hands. Everybody can be successful if you decide, if you're sincere about it, if you're pursuing it with all your heart and soul. Everybody is capable of achieving their dreams. The only thing is that you have to make the dream a part of you. And you have to do everything to achieve that dream. You have to put in all your efforts into it. And last but not the least, if your approach is correct, you will definitely carve a beautiful future for you, a bright, successful future for you. So I wish all of you my best. I wish you to have a blessed life ahead. And I wish that all of you become very, very successful in your life. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you want to be in touch with me, these are my details, my website, my email addresses, my Instagram and Facebook accounts, my YouTube channel, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. So if you wish, you may take a screenshot or note down these details, and we can be in touch later as well. With this, I would like to stop this presentation, and I'm ready to take your questions. Thank you so much once again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
I request,
Yeah,
ma'am, give
Yeah.
it to me. I request to Deepak, Rotractor Deepak Dave to conduct a vote of.
if there are any questions, I'm ready to take. If yeah, shall we wait for question?
Ma'am, I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Good evening to everyone. I, Rotractor Deepak Dave, Vice President Club of DTSS College, would like to take this opportunity to propose the today's webinar. First of all, I would like to thank our speaker for today's session, Ms. Manisha Anrekar, who had made his time from her busy schedule on success mantras for our exams. Indeed, it's a very informative session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Further, I would like to add my vote of thanks to our principal of DTSS College of Commerce, Dr. Sushmita Dakshini, for giving us the permission to conduct this session. I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Jinsi James and Professor Farin Qureshi, teacher in charge of DTSS, for organizing such a educative webinar in our esteemed college. Lastly, I would like to thank all the students for joining and showing their interest in this webinar. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepak, Dr. Deepak Dave, and thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for a great session. Guys, can anyone?
No, ma'am. No,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
one of participant told me song name.
Song name? What is that?
Ma'am, we
Now-
play music na.
Miss that music. I want that music only.
No, I did not get it, please. Can you please come again?
That music, ma'am, जो अभी play हो रहा
Yes, yes.
था वो music.
Yeah.
I
Name of
want
that
that
music.
music
Okay,
only.
that is Clean Soul.
Yes, miss.
That's Clean Soul.
Okay, miss. Thank you, miss.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for this seminar.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. So is there anything else or what to do? No questions, right?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. Good evening. This is Jinsi ma'am here.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. There's one question that has been raised. That is, ma'am, how to control our overthinking in study time. This has been asked by Anjali Pandey.
Yeah. Okay. This is really very difficult, but it's not impossible. So prepare yourself mentally that now you're going to study and you should focus only on your studies. Out of 24 hours, we have to see how many hours we study. So if you're studying for 1 hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours, just make sure that you do that thing in that time. This is how you will be able to focus. Like when you are on Facebook or on Instagram or somewhere else, it is easier for you to do that and you forget about your studies. In the similar fashion, when you are studying, focus your studies. Okay. Overthinking can be stopped by focusing on your job and just going with the flow. Think what I should not. Excuse me. So to stop your overthinking, you have to train your mind to get into one thing at a time. Once you start doing it, you automatically start focusing. And once you start focusing, your thoughts are diverted to that thing only. Instead of getting negative thoughts, channelize your thoughts toward positive things so that you can stop overthinking. Overthinking is generally negative. So once you learn to divert your thoughts towards positive thing, it is easier for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So can I stop this on Facebook now? I'm so thankful to those who are watching us on Facebook. And thank you everybody else who could make their time for this webinar. And thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Great session.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you, ma'am.
shall we end the meeting or is there anything else?
Guys who have,
There is one question
please,
in my
please.
direct message, how to self motivate. So you have to give self suggestions, positive suggestions that yes, you are going to do it and you will do it. This is how I do it. Whenever I feel low, I tell myself that never mind, you are a human. And even if you are unable to do it at this very moment, you will be able to achieve it. This is how you can self motivate yourself. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much once again.
Guys, participants, please. The feedback form, please, and participants, all of you.
Yeah, so everybody has got the feedback form link. Can I end the meeting now? Akhilesh?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes?
thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Great section.
Okay then. Thank you so much. Have a good night and all the best. I am ending the meeting for everybody. If you have any questions, you can get back to me on my social media or on my email. Okay. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a good life ahead.
Bye,
Bye.
bye. Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma'am.
Bye.
Take care, ma'am.
Take care, ma'am.
There is some question about dysgraphia. So please get back to me. I hope you have noted my details. I would like to tell you in your personal chat. Okay. So at this moment, I am just ending the meeting. Yeah, thank you so much once again. Bye-bye. Take care.